guillotine, because I like choking y'all, and this is one of my favorite ways to do it. So we're here, I'm sitting up in my butterfly guard. A couple things, especially when you're going to be attacking a lot out of the butterfly guard. I want my knees a little bit wider, and I want my feet engaged, because I want to be constantly kind of just doing that little push-pull off balance. I don't want to do just like feet flat on the floor, just kind of sitting here. I want to have my feet engaged, and I want to have that wide base so that it off balances them that little bit. Now, when I reach up, I'm snapping him almost like I'm grabbing for a Muay Thai clinch. A lot of people snap at the neck and try to pull down. I want his head to come forward. So when I snap him, I'm grabbing up here and pulling that head down like I'm trying to tuck in a football. Football is the American sport. Weird pointing. So, but when I'm here, I'm trying to tuck his chin right to the palm of my head, and the top of his head I want trapped into my biceps. So when I'm here, I'm tucking it literally like I'm a running back here. My outside hand is going to come in between me and him, and it's going to grab the fatty part of my hand. I'm going to roll his head in, tuck my head to the back of his neck, down towards the head, slow, steady squeeze. This one, if you hit it right, you should be able to basically have him tapping before you get him over to this side. So we're moving here, I head snap, pull. My head comes back around, I squeeze, and get that tap. It is a nice, nasty choke. It's one of my favorite ones, and it's one of my highest percentage submissions I've hit. If not to finish the choke, it sets up all of my sweeping options that we're going to go over. Questions on this? Like I said, the biggest thing in this is a lot of people try to arch out of guillotines. The reason that doesn't work, especially with this one, is I'm not like tucking his head underneath my arm here. I'm trapping it into my head, arm, and chest, and covering it with my head. So if he tries to pop his head out here, there's a lot of stuff in his way. If I try to arch back here, I just pop his chin up forward. So when I'm here, I'm tucking that in, squeezing and settling it. As far as grip goes, you're cupping that chin. I like to grab with just my outside trigger finger here on the blade of my wrist here where it connects into the hand. That way I can squeeze everything in, rolling and crunching as tight as I can. Questions on this choke? Nothing. A very intricate submission. Alright, let's go mess it up. Oh, here.
So when you're grabbing the chin, where are you grabbing?
I'm literally grabbing the point of his chin. So when I'm here, I'm literally cupping it. You have small children. What's in your mouth? Right? That's the grip I'm setting. I'm literally snapping his head into my hand, and my thumb should be right on where his jaw connects into his neck. Kind of right there. That's what allows me to roll those hands into his throat, make this choke much more of a crush your throat than a you run out of air or blood choke. This is a sucks to suck, I'm going to squeeze your head off type of choke. I'm just dragging gloves and I use them.
So when you get that grip and get everything extended, are you kind of pushing it and then rolling up, or are you kind of pushing it down to where you want it?
So I'm rolling everything into his throat. So when I'm here, the motion is not no. So when I'm here, all I'm trying to do is curl his chin through the middle of his chest. That naturally, with a little bit of elbow pinch, will get you there. James really appreciates the high intricacy detail here. Other questions? Alrighty, drill her out. 1, 2, 3. When I'm here with Mr. Hackett, my hand stays on that chin cup the entire time in this first one. So when I'm here, guys, and I head snap, I'm snapping across to my other arm. But when I'm here, my hand does not leave this chin cup. All I'm doing is trying to put, everyone touch your chin to your chest. That's what I'm trying to do for him and occupy the space in between his chin and his chest with my hands. That's why this works. Naturally, your body has that defense mechanism of being able to tuck that chin. That's why, hey, when you're being choked, tuck your chin. Fighting that naturally. Does that make sense? All right, second option. I go here, I snap his head, Mr. Hackett doesn't suck at jiu-jitsu, so he's going to dig for this underhook. It's like, man, that's really rude of you to like counter stuff that I'm trying to do. So all I'm going to do is do arm in guillotine. My hand goes from the outside to the inside. Grabs that same grip. All we're going to do is instead of keeping that chin cup, I'm going to pull those hands slightly towards the arm inside. Here. As soon as that happens, I'm still rolling everything in. Just falling towards this side here. Collapsing this elbow down and back. As soon as I roll my hands, it's in. That's the fun of this choke. So I'm here with Mr. Hackett. I head snap in. Boom, I get here. He doesn't suck, so he reaches here. My hand comes under, and I connect my hands that same exact way. The only difference is I shift my elbow down that little bit, so that way this arm can trap his elbow in. That stops him from being able to dig a big underhook and start applying pressure to me. That allows me to then start falling this way. Head goes to the back of his chest. Squeeze. Let James breathe for a second because I held that for about a second longer than I should have. Well, except. So when I'm here, guys, the big difference on this one is I still connect my hands. All I'm doing is shifting this in so that my wrist is doing a little more of the work because that allows me to collapse this elbow. I'm going to do this without choking James unconscious, hopefully. But when I'm here, if I keep my hand on the chin strap here, James can start to really drive pressure and start to come here. But if I collapse this elbow down, it takes all the pressure off of his shoulder and out of my chest into a little bit more of a manageable position. Then that allows me to finish this choke. Where if I don't collapse that elbow on the outside hand, it's a lot harder to finish this choke, and that's why a lot of people, when they get an arm in guillotine, whether they hit it this way or the more traditional grip way, they'll get here, and a lot of guys will stack, and they're like, "Ugh." Doesn't work as well because he's able to relieve pressure here. A lot of guys will grab your shoulder and do all sorts of stuff up here to relieve that pressure. Where if I'm here and I just collapse that elbow down, even one-handed with that arm collapse, I can finish this choke. It's quick in an instant when I collapse that elbow, isn't it? Yeah. Because that arm allows you to relieve pressure. That's why arm-in guillotines have a much lower success rate than non-arm guillotines. That's why I prefer them. The non-arm in. Does that make sense?
So I know this might be a lanky person
Yes.
centered. You're talking about it being like a low motion. Is there any benefit if you can like move as much as you can?
For you lanky fucksticks, maybe. But when I'm here, the biggest thing I'm trying to get is I'm not trying to like go Darce deep here.
Okay.
Because that's going to be really hard to like readjust, get your shoulder underneath, and get any more leverage.
Okay.
So I don't know that I would reach much deeper than like that 6-inch shift. But play with it a little bit. Like I said, I don't have your length, so it's really hard for me to be like, oh yeah, this will work perfectly. Eli, you too. I don't know. Sucks to suck. I'm not tall. But when I'm here, I just do that little shift because it allows me to collapse that elbow. As long as you can collapse that elbow, you can go a little deeper here. I would just be careful because I'm trying to still do most of the choking with this 6 inches.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking to do the choking. So make sure that is still doing the bulk of your work with the curl. Other questions here?
Are you keeping butter?
I'm keeping him just off me with my base here. So when I'm in butterfly, I'm not trying to like pull him on top of me. I'm not trying to kick him away. I'm trying to manage his distance to where I don't have weight on top of me, but I'm not kicking him away. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it's more just maintenance of distance management. That whoever wins the distance battle in butterfly guard is who generally ends up winning. If I kick James really far away, he wins because I don't have butterfly guard anymore. If James smothers me and is on top of me, I can't do anything. Therefore, James has won. So as long as I can maintain the distance I want to attack, that's what you're looking for. Same thing with the first one. You're not trying to kick him off of you. You're not trying to pull him over the top of you. Questions here? So, James's question, because he asked silently almost. I'm here, right? Boom, I get here, right? What's the automatic defense to a guillotine?
Get to the other side.
That's why I hook the feet. That's why my feet are still active. So even if you try to real hot bid, All you gotta do is hold and follow. Now, am I saying that you can't get beat and they can't pass? No. Jiu-jitsu's counter to the counter till both of you die. Like, somebody's got to figure it out. But that's why I'm not being lazy with my hooks here. I'm keeping my knees wide so that way when I come in, boom, if you try to pass, let's say I get in real trouble, I can also kick out, go to coverage here. I stay. You can't always go to that coverage if you need it. Like if you have no-gi essentially, or you got some real spry guy, Danny, real hard to grab hold of, he jumps, he'll do that jump. I'm gonna probably cover that hit. Most of the time though, if you have your feet engaged and your hand in distance, you can do it. Professor.
What is what happens to you when you're doing it? What is the most common counter reaction?
Most people try to do one of two things. So, and this is arm in or arm out. When I go to head snap here, one of two things happen. They barrel into me. This is the JJ defense. I'm gonna barrel in and post into you.
Yeah.
That's why maintaining your distance with your feet becomes important. Relieves that pressure so that you can't just, like the body lock passing and all that, I can shut a lot of that down with distance maintenance. The other is run. Like when I'm here, yeah, if I get here, a lot of people, if I start snapping their head, are going to start backing themselves away. That's going to also need more distance management. And if he starts backing away too much, realize just because I'm on my butt doesn't mean I have to stay. If I snap David's head, he runs from me. Okay. Like I can come up and follow. Does that make sense? So, like I said, a lot of people, when like if James goes to head snap me, a lot of people go to here.
And I'll start body locking, which if James just lifts me up that little bit, he can still set his hand.
Be fine. So that's why having that good butterfly guard, that's why we do that warm-up drill. Getting those lifts, sit in the back of it, never on your back. Because I can maintain that distance and put them where I'm at. Other questions here?
When you try to jump and you put your leg over the top,
Yes.
can you still finish from there? Like, did you settle in that and finish?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You just end up finishing basically half of it. So, one of the ways, what you're talking about is I'm here, boom, I'm afraid he's gonna jump. I get here. The only thing you want to be careful about, see how I'm flat here? That's gonna make finishing very tough. But the second I get to my side here, and as deep as it's ever gonna be. So that's the only thing you gotta be careful about if you go to that leg over position. And this is arm in, arm out. I don't care which one you're doing. If I'm here, I can do this arm in as well. You just can't be flat on your back. You have to be on that rib cage on that side. Because if you're flat, you're not going to have the leverage to turn it. Questions? Comments? 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I'm here with Mr. Hackett. Let's assume I get here, I get my head snapped, everything's going well. But let's assume for whatever reason, I can't stay on bottom. I'm down on points. I need to score. I suck at guillotining, but I also suck at being on bottom, so I need to get to top. Let's just assume all these things are true. So I'm here, I get to here. Let's say it's just not working, something's wrong, right? All we're going to do is I'm going to kick him back up, and as soon as I go this way, I'm looking to kick over and hit that sweep. Now, 2 options when you hit mount. 1, squeeze. You're in. You might as well give her a good squeeze. If you don't like that, cross your ankles, base, settle. Get your 6 points. 2 for the sweep, 4 for the mount. So all we're looking for is just that standard butterfly sweep, just doing it with the head trap instead. So I'll hit it. No arm here. We fall back. Boom. I get here. I'm going to at least hit that side crunch and see if I can squeeze it. If I don't like how that squeeze is feeling, or he starts getting real rambunctious, I cross my heels, pull my heels to my butt, base my ankle. Settle. Questions on this? Still hitting that standard butterfly sweep. The only big difference is if you're going to have that guillotine, a lot of people still try to arch into it. Side push towards the head. I can do both. So like I'm here, I hit it to this side mainly when I'm instructing, but like if I'm here, I can't go.
So like the biggest difference for a lot of people is a lot of people will do this. When I'm here, it still gets tight, don't get me wrong. But the second I can hit this one hand if you hit it correctly, going sideways. That's the difference. If you do this right, you can guillotine one hand.
Questions? Hit the head snap whether you want arm in, no arm in. Use it to sweep. Give it that little side crunch if you think it's still in. If not, hit your base. Because realize if you don't hit your base there, they can just continue to roll. So like let's assume James doesn't suck here. Always a tough assumption some days. But boom, I go here. Some guys will just continue to roll. Nice part is you can continue choking. But if you get here and you don't feel secure with both your hands attached, you can always base. I will keep one hand just in until I'm secure, got my points, and then I'll start working on pressure. But make sure when you get that sweep, settle in, get those points, especially those of you competing soon. This is probably a coaching error on my part. I don't care about points, so I don't coach you well on points. We're sub-hunters, and it's probably my fault. But that's why we struggle at tournaments sometimes. So make sure when you get there, secure your points, then move on to the stuff.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. Going in.
Is there any map for the points thing?
No, you can still hold that and get your points. The only thing is, some guys will buck and roll before you get your points if you don't have at least half a base settled out. Because the initial reaction when you hit mount is what? Get the hell out of there. Like if I hit mount on you, you just politely let that happen. Be like, oh, thanks, Dustin, I appreciate that. No, you buck, you roll, you push the hips, you move as, you know, the balloon guy outside of used car lots, everyone does that. They're like, ah, get me out of here. Everyone does that when you hit mount. Even at the black belt level. Guys who are like, ah, go to hell, you're not taking mount easy. Some of these will make it work. So, if you have my neck and you hit mount, both of those things tell me I need to move, and I need to move very quickly and aggressively. So that's what you have to realize is, hey, if you hit there, and you're like, ah, I don't have the choke, but I'm also not secure in the mount, let go, base, hit your mount. Position, then submission. Make sense? Other questions? 1, 2, 3.